the great kingdom of Vijayanagara, one morning began peacefully. Birds sang sweetly in the royal garden, merchants happily sold goods in the busy marketplace. Everything seemed calm and joyful. But suddenly, a woman's crying voice echoed near the palace gates. "Please help me!" The royal guards quickly brought her inside. She was a poor village woman. In her arms, she carried a tiny child. The little child looked weak and hungry. The woman fell before King Krishna Devaraya with tears in her eyes. "Your Majesty, please save my child." The king looked deeply concerned. "What happened?" he asked gently. The woman spoke with a trembling voice. "In our village, there is a rich merchant named Sethupathi. He secretly hides food supplies and sells them at very high prices. Poor people cannot afford food anymore. My child has not eaten properly for 2 days." The entire royal court became silent. The king's face turned angry. How can someone be so cruel? The woman lowered her head. "Sethupathi is very powerful, Your Majesty. He bribes many people, and nobody dares to question him." The king immediately ordered, "Bring Sethupathi to the palace at once." A few hours later, a richly dressed merchant entered the royal court. It was Sethupathi. He walked proudly with a confident smile. "Your Majesty, why have I been caught?" The king spoke sternly. "Are you hiding food from the people?" Sethupathi quickly pretended to be innocent. "No, Your Majesty. I am a humble and honest merchant. I always help the poor." Some ministers even supported him. "Yes, Your Majesty, Sethupathi is a respected businessman." The king became confused. At that moment, a familiar voice was heard near the palace entrance. It was Tenali Raman. He quietly observed everyone in the court. Then he smiled gently. "Your Majesty, may I investigate this matter?" The king nodded immediately. "Tenali, find the truth." Tenali Raman looked at the poor woman and her child.
The little child looked exhausted from hunger. Seeing this, Tenali's heart filled with sadness. He gently touched the child's head. "Do not worry, little one. Justice will come." Then Tenali turned towards Sethupathi. "If you truly care for the poor, will you distribute free food to the people tomorrow morning?" Sethupathi laughed confidently. Of course. But inside his mind, he had another plan. "One day of free food will make me look generous," he thought. The next morning, a huge crowd gathered in the city square. Large pots of food were brought by Setupathi's workers. Hungry villagers waited hopefully. The king, ministers, and Tenali Raman also arrived. Sethupathi proudly announced, "Today I feed the poor." The crowd clapped happily, but Tenali Raman remained quiet. He carefully watched everything. Then suddenly he called the little child from the poor woman's family. The child slowly walked forward. Tenali took a bowl of rice and offered it to the child. But strangely, the child refused to eat it. People looked confused. Tenali calmly asked the crowd, "Can you smell this food carefully?" The people leaned closer. A strange smell came from the rice. Tenali smiled slightly. "This rice is spoiled. Sethupathi has hidden the good quality grain and bought rotten food for the poor." The crowd gasped in shock. The king stood up angrily. "What?" Sethupathi immediately panicked. "No, Your Majesty, he is lying." But Tenali Raman was already prepared. He turned towards the royal guards. "Search Setupathi's warehouses immediately." The guards rushed away. After some time, they returned with shocking news. "Your Majesty, inside the warehouses, there are mountains of fresh rice and grains hidden everywhere. The merchants stored the best food for profit and gave spoiled food to the poor." The people became furious. The king's eyes burned with anger. "Sethupathi, You use the suffering of innocent people to become rich. You even endangered children. Sethapathy fell to his knees. Please forgive me, Your Majesty. But the king replied firmly, A man without compassion deserves no mercy. Then he gave his order. All hidden food supplies shall be distributed freely to the people. The crowd cheered loudly. The poor woman cried with gratitude. She folded her hands before Tenali Raman. You saved my child. Tenali smiled warmly. He lifted the little child into his arms. Now the child was smiling again. Seeing that smile, everyone in the royal court felt happiness return. King Krishnadevaraya proudly said, Tenali, once again you have proven something important. True wisdom is not only intelligence, it is also kindness. Tenali bowed respectfully. Then he softly replied, Your Majesty, the true wealth of a kingdom is not gold, it is the smile of its children. After that day, new laws were created in Vijayanagara. No merchant was allowed to hoard food unfairly. Free food centres were built for poor families. And the child grew healthy and joyful once again. Whenever Tenali Raman visited the village, the child would run toward him with a bright smile. And the people would happily remember the day wisdom and compassion defeated greed. Intelligence may make a person successful, but kindness makes a person truly great.